First and foremost, want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach well and taught us this truth. Salutation to the Akim, preaching this truth with sincerity. Present your bodies as a living sacrifice. Shalom to the elect, the hopeful elect. Shalom to the few sisters listening and learning in silence. El Mashiach from Camp Children of the Light, back at you with another one. And it's a lot going on. Satan just tried to, do his thing and, prevent me from trying to get this lesson off. But I'm going to go ahead and pop it off. And it's a lot, so I'm just going to start and let the Spirit arrange it in the proper way it's supposed to be. So let's get going.
Is the next whatever, gold. I mean, really smart.
I want to start this over. Let me go and just give it a little restart. I hope it comes
Water
right
is the next crypto fuck. Water is the next whatever, gold. I mean, really smart guys have been buying, the families like the Rockefellers have been buying up water rights for 100 plus years. There's a reason why Ted Turner, I believe, is either the largest or the second largest landowner in the United States. He's not buying it for the land. He's buying it for the fucking water rights. Why are people so stupid? Water.
That's right. So these AI data centers are popping up everywhere. And there are numerous reports of different cities and states all across the country where rivers are drying up because AI and the data centers are drinking up all of the water. You have national parks and you have national rivers that are literally that are below record levels because of the amount of water AI is consuming. You have residential reports all across America that the water pressure is low or that the water is not drinkable because of data centers. And so, Esau's move next, right, is to monetize water. And that all ties into going into the universal basic universal based income, right? Because they already control the central distribution for food. Now they're going to control the central distribution for water. Even if you couldn't get water in your home, if you live in rural areas, you can go to a river that's fresh spring water, drinkable water, and you are able to get that. But I got some additional articles pulled up. So here's one from The Guardian. Majority of U.S. new AI data centers to be built on drought-hit lands. And these drought-hit lands are already drying up because they already have data centers on that land. And so once you get the town or the region or the people to sign off on one data center, it's easier to get them to sign off on another one. So they're already drought-ridden because there are already multiple data centers in that area, and they're going to keep capitalizing on that. And when was this published? This was published, June 8th, 2026. So recent. A record-shattering drought has wrecked much of the U.S., but the AI industry is pushing ahead regardless, with majority of planned data centers to be built on drought-ridden locations. That's right, because there are already data centers there. A Guardian analyst has found about 2/3 of upcoming data centers, which typically require a large amount of water to operate, are set to be built in places that have been among the driest in the country over the past year. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit and then go back. More than 60% of the contiguous U.S. is currently at varying stages of a drought. More than half the country is experiencing droughts. The largest expansion for spring in modern records, with a particularly severe lack of rain and snow in the southeast and the west. Right? So, then they're jumping up. Okay, right. So more than half of the country is already experiencing drought. And with the drought, there's going to become the increase in temperature, right? As the land gets drier and is not able to accommodate and soak up that heat. it's going to get drier. And that's why you have record-breaking heat waves all across the world, because the same thing is happening over in Europe as well. You have a heat wave as well as they are experiencing droughts as well. Of 809 planned data centers, 517 are in locations that have been in drought conditions. Right. So now we're going to do some math, right? 1 + 1. So 517 data centers are already in places that have been reported for droughts. What does that tell us? There's a correlation between the data centers and the amount of water in the area. And then you're going to keep, and then now you're going to pump out more data centers. Yeah, man. So this guy's wicked all the way around. Let's go ahead and just get some precepts before I continue to go on. All right. So Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. Right. You got people that bought, they bought their house. They've been living in the community for years. And now data centers are popping up and the water supply is not there, or the water is either undrinkable because of all of the dirt that's getting mixed in when the construction, when the AI, all of the gunk is pumping out, or because these data centers are consuming so much water that there's no more left. There's a report that people have to drop ship their water in, and they live in the U.S. Right? Let's get Job 9:24. Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Because that's got to be a wicked thing to do. Right? You can obviously spot the correlation between these data centers, AI, and the amount of water, or the water in the area, and how the heat index increases as the water level drops. Right? But this man doesn't care. He's okay with his people starving, right, for this purpose. It's all in the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, and it's all a part of that plan, right? Because he put it in this man's mind to devise this wickedness, right? So pull one more scripture, then get some more articles. Then go Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When morning is light, they practice it because the power is in their hand. Right? It's totally in their hands for them to consume the water. Right? Because water is probably the most important resource that any person has that's on this planet, the most precious. Right, and I'm sure that they have other methods to cool this data center with these data centers. With all of the science and technology that Esau loves, I'm sure they have alternate methods. But those methods don't work into their plan. Causing chaos works in their plan. Right, suffering works in their plan because they're already trading water on the stock exchange, because water is the new oil. It's the new gold that you just heard this guy talk about. It was already conversation of water being a scarcity, right? And that's why we have to recycle it and be careful how we consume it and use it, because once it's gone, we can't get it back, right? All right. But this is the one I want to play right here.
Database.
All right.
Provide the creation.
So let's go ahead and just back up a little bit.
I'm not sure that the people who bought your shares think that money won't matter in 2036.
Well,
right. So we all know this guy, but he's saying in 10 years, money won't matter. But let's hear why.
What do you want money for? You want money for goods and services, right? You want money for obviously food, housing, transport, entertainment. Well, if that is so abundant that there's more that the robots and AI are providing more goods and services than any human could possibly consume, what do you need money for in that case?
Let's agree that that
Exactly. So he's going into the universal basic income. If everything is being provided to the people in abundance, what do you need money for? But now, how are these people going to provide water to the world in abundance when we're experiencing droughts now? How are they going to create more water? See, they are creating the problem so they can implement their version of the solution. Problem, reaction, solution. There's been reports of food shortages. They are already approving to use the fake meat across the world. Before I get there, predictive programming. So there's a movie called The Tuxedo, Jackie Chan. Right? That's the spirit, the water y'all about showing y'all shot. Let's look up the plot. Okay. The Tuxedo is a action comedy, blah blah blah, following Jackie Chan, right? So this is Jackie. Jimmy puts on his boss high-tech gadget tuxedo, gaining superhuman abilities to stop a corporate terrorist from poisoning the world's water supply. So there's this movie called The Tuxedo, and it's a comedy. So when you watch it, it's ha 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 funny with Jackie Chan. But the plot of this movie is that there's this villain, and his plan is to make the water drier, right? So he genetically alters the water that when you drink, the more you drink, the thirstier you get. And so him and his super villain friends, they own a water company, right? And they package and sell bottled water. But the new genetically modified water they sell, it makes you thirstier the more you drink it. So you have to keep buying it and keep buying it. And that's just like the water today. The water today doesn't have any electrolytes in it. That's why there's $1 billion electrolyte market now. You buy electrolytes separately in packets to mix it in your water because the water today doesn't have any minerals. So literally this movie is a reality today because the more water you drink now, the thirstier you get, and all you're doing is flushing the minerals out of your body. You're flushing the nutrients out of your body. When there's no electrolytes in the water, all it does is flush everything out of you. It doesn't give anything back into you. And it's the spirit. As I was watching this, I was like, damn, because I talk about this a lot. So let's just ask AI, why do I need to buy electrolytes? Electrolytes. It says you do not need to buy electrolyte products unless you are losing heavy amounts of fluid through intense sweat, heat, or illness. Electrolytes are minerals like sodium and potassium that your body uses for muscle and nerve work. Right. See, and now this first statement here is already a lie, because how else are we going to fuel our body with what we need with the proper minerals that it needs unless we are hydrating? You have to hydrate. Right? The body is 70% water. You have to hydrate. But see, they've already achieved this grand master scheme because the electrolyte business is $1 billion business, man. Let's see how many out there. Right. Okay. Right. Whatever this is, LMNT, electrolytes, drip drop, Pedialyte, drip drop. Now I use these because I do work out. So I use these. Do they work? I don't know. But what I do know is that the more water you drink, the drier and more dehydrated I feel. So there's definitely a correlation, man. So the water we're drinking now doesn't have any nutrients, and the water that's available, that's occurring in the outside, they taking all of that to feed the AI and the data centers, man. Yeah, man, this man wicked as hell. Woe to them that devise iniquity, because you got to be an evil, scheming motherfucker. You gonna take the water away? The water. If he could, he would take the air away. But that's why he's, doing the cloud seeding and all of that, because he wants to control that as well. This man wants to control everything. And then now this guy, let me find it.
Money won't matter.
And now this guy saying that money doesn't matter because everything is going to be in abundance.
I'm not sure that the people who bought your shares think that money won't matter in 2036.
Well, what do you want money for? You want money for goods and services.
Yeah.
See, and the scripture says that money is a defense. Money is a tool. So if you don't have, even the scriptures will teach you that money is a defense, something that you can use. So if you're going to take that, they want you completely naked in the world, right? I mean, without the truth, we are naked, but in the world, they want you completely defenseless. So now the food is centrally distributed and the water is centrally distributed.
Right, you want money for, obviously, food, housing, transport, entertainment. Well, if that is so abundant that there's more, that the robots and AI are providing more goods and services than any human could possibly consume, what do you need money for in that case?
Let's agree that could be where we end up. I'm concerned about the road, and we live in democracies, and people are very worried about this. So I guess two questions. Firstly, do you have to have massive redistribution from people like you to the people who are losing their jobs? Do you need to pay more tax? Do you have much higher taxes on capital so that you fund some kind of universal income? Otherwise, what do people live off?
I think that the Treasury should just simply issue people checks.
And there we go. She said it, universal income. And he's breaking down how it works.
Well, yeah,
but where's the revenue coming from? I mean, I'm enough of an economist. If you just issue checks, you're going to have inflation.
This is, like, a lot of what we're trying to think about is these things were relevant in the past. They will not be relevant in the future. So, like, inflation is simply the ratio of money to goods and services. So if the goods and services output increases dramatically, if it increases, 1,000%, you can you can literally print, or these days change the database. It's not print money. It's you create money in the database.
Right, and so they're touching on the universal income, as well as the digital dollar, where it won't be paper no more. And all of this is fake. It's not real. Right? Digital money is not, anything digital is not real, because it's not tangible. You can't touch it. You can't own it. And what is it, man? Is it Proverbs 11:1? Proverbs 11:1. A false balance is abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. So you paying people in fakeness, man. And there's another scripture about it goes into the purse, but it's a hole in the purse or something, right? Because they whatever you put in your, it's coming right out. Taxes and everything, they automatically taken out. They're already garnishing your wages before you even get it. So your wage is not even your real wage. Now they're not even going to give you physical money. It's all digital, man. It's all fake. Even the goods are going to be fake. The supply and the demand is fabricated, right? Because the demand is man-made. The supply is man-made. They can choke the supply anytime, which is what drives the inflation up. And we see that happening all of the time, man. This guy's completely out of control. All right. Yeah, completely out of control, man. This just wickedness on wickedness. That's crazy. And then we got,
Community, how great these things. You can't fight it.
And now we got the cruel Lord. President Donald Trump just told Americans to stop fighting data centers and just to give it up and deal with it.
To go with it. And you're going to have all that protection, and we're giving you automatic protection, but you're going to make a tremendous amount of money. You're going to reduce taxes, and you're going to have something that if you don't have it, everybody else wants it.
And he's talking about how residential communities need to welcome data centers. So you got a big ass data center in your backyard polluting your air and the water. So let's get into the final scriptures I want to bring out. This is Isaiah 19:1, the burden of Egypt, Egypt being America. Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt. And the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. Okay? And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, because you best believe, right? We all see the movie Civil War. We know what happens when there's a shortage. 2nd Esdras 15 and 16, they go from house to house, spoiling their neighbors, their goods. They will be as madmen, sparing none in their path. You're going to have brother fighting against brother. They go disregard the princes because the power is in their hand, man. Okay, and the Lord is moving his chess pieces around. He's putting the spirit, right, on the idols of Egypt. And who's the idols over here? It's not just the entertainers. It's your politicians, right? Your senators, your governors, your mayors, your presidents, right? Because they push these policies. Okay. And I will set the Egyptians over the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom, right? Because each city is, right, and each state is essentially its own kingdom, if you think about it. Because Texas, at one point, right, that was a comment, I believe, a few years ago, right, that Texas wanted to break away, right? But also, kingdom against kingdom, when you get into the third war as well. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof. That's right, because we already see the spirit of this place is being brought down to a low. And I will destroy the counsel thereof, because there is no wise counsel down there in the Oval Office. There's no wise counsel in any of the policies that's coming out. And it can't be, because you see the state that the country is in. I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards. And the Egyptians I will give over into the hand of a cruel Lord. And we just heard the cruel Lord, man. He says he doesn't stay up at night thinking about the American people. He got a war to fight. They know what these data centers are doing to the environment. They don't care. He said he don't care about daycare and home care. They need money for war. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. And the water shall fail from the sea, and the river shall be wasted and dried up. And this is talking about the aftermath from the missiles hit this place. But what we see with the data centers is a milestone in the story. And we all know what a milestone is. This, it's a turning point. And they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of defense shall be emptied and dried up, and the reeds and flags shall wither. Yeah, and that's just, that's a result of the waters drying up from when, the missiles hit this place, right, as prophecy says. But, again, on a smaller scale, right, we see this happening with AI. So yeah, man. It's a lot going on, and it's moving faster and faster. Um, they ramping up with the digital ID. Start with the passports. You can do everything from home as long as your device has a camera. You can, get your passport done, the digital ID. So this thing is rolling, man. And I'm gonna end it there and say shalom, shalom. Till the next time, Kwam Yasharala.